People of Tin City, take 2. My grandfather and dad and uncle and everyone helped build this shack, and I've just kind of been raised into it, which I'm very thankful for. When Mum was little, she grew up here as well, so I'm just kind of the next generation.
Tin City, take 1. I first started coming out here probably in the 80s, early 80s. I can remember coming across this place with a few friends in our buggies, and pretty much scared us, and we couldn't get out of here quick enough because we didn't know what it was. Was it some sort of jail or I didn't know what it was. I just didn't know.
Yeah, Jimmy. Oh, they're down here talking to me. Oh, but if I know his character, that place too, yeah. Yeah, number hut 3 up there. Wasn't as big as this room, yeah. Yeah, only a little thing, and then just add to them.
A mate of mine, he brought me up here fishing. He owned a hut up here. We got to take over a hut. It was 3 parts buried in the sand, and they used to call it the cabin.
And back years ago, it was hard getting rid of that sand, yeah.
Some huts have been got buried and collapsed. And, you know, one of the huts over there, the sand, it blew pretty bad, big storm, and it got on up on a bloke's roof, and we were up there in the middle of the night, and I was up there driving the plough, pulling the sand off the top of the roof to save the hut, and that happened a few times.
This hut was originally further across there, and eventually the dune came across and swallowed it and crushed it. So Scrubby and Kevin got it, and this centre part of the hut, and they put that up in a day, and then they added on a carport which got converted into a room, which then had another carport put onto that.
I remember like parts where like the floors changed and carpets and stuff, but the sand is always moving, so everything's different every time you're here.
When we first started coming out here, we only had basically batteries, which we used to have to run a generator and a battery charger, and so I built a wind generator out of a Fisher Paykel washing machine. And then as time got on, solar panels become cheaper and affordable, so now all we have is a nice big solar bank up the top and better batteries, so power's pretty good out here now. When the children come along, that's when we put on the extra room on the end, but Parks and Wildlife took over and they gave us a set date, and after that date there was no more work to be done, so I had to put that room on pretty quick, which a lot of other people did the same, so there was a fair bit of building going on out there in those days. Them days the rule was no more huts to be built here, but just look after them and all that, so that's all we had to do. When the kids were born, we used to come out here with them as babies, so they've had their whole life out here.
But whisk up there any chance you could get, yeah. Just didn't take the kids out of school to go up there.
I grew up here. We learned how to drive, how to ride quads and stuff. We started when we were about 2.
So up there years ago, you could have trikes and quads and that, and the kids enjoyed it. Get up there and wonder what the rich people could be doing.
Before, when you could drive on the actual beach before it all got closed, we used to drive around in the buggies, and Dad used to just go up these massive hills, and it was just a lot of fun. The buggies, they really were a big part of mine and my sister's childhood. Dad wanted me to say how I ran into the hut and almost knocked it down, but I don't know. Okay. Yeah, but it was pretty good. It was good days. It's always fun here. It's usually always something new, something different when you're here. Easters, Dad used to hide the chocolates in the sand and get a metal detector for us to go out and find. But probably birthdays, one time Dad and Pop put up a banner on the way in through the old track and hung all of our toys in the trees. So that was quite nice. We had lots of parties and stuff like that, you know. Christmas times were great out here, and the beachfront would be lined with people camping, trailers, caravans.
Oh, unreal it was, you know, like everyone had come from everywhere.
Quite a few people from Sydney used to come up with huge trailers full of fireworks, like the sort of fireworks you'd see in Newcastle Harbour. Wasn't real good for our dogs, because, you know, but this dog I've got now, she's terrible frightened of crackers and stuff like that, so I can't do that anymore. Back in the early days, Boydie had a hut over here, was a Kiwi guy, and he used to cook up some big dinners, and He used to love his food, and he'd get on the radio and say dinner's on, and everyone would go over to Boydie's hut.
Oh, it's a whole heap of stuff thrown into a pot and it's full of fat, and they cook up cabbage and everything in it. Oh, beautiful, beautiful food it was, yeah.
Probably some of the best days out here was in the storms.
Like the rain sounds really nice, but then in the big storms, like when you're young and trying to sleep, it's a little bit scary.
You sit in there and have a couple of beers and listen to the wind and the rain on the hut and that.
We'd be in there with the fire going, oven on, cooking dinner, and all the big storm would come, all the cars are flying off the beach trying to get off quick enough, and we'd be here just lapping it up. It was terrific.
And then the next day I'd come out and be absolutely beautiful.
My favourite thing would be as it is off-grid. Like it's very quiet, no technology. It's just very away from everything. But wouldn't change it.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough to stroll upon it and spend half my life here, which was terrific. How's that?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. All right.
Try to keep it short.
Very good.